Welcome to the Season 2 Ribbon Challenge Guide. This time, I actually got it done quickly for once, so that it might be more helpful. And I didn't want Warzone to suddenly drop and for this to get delayed by a month, because I know I'm going to want to dive into the new mode when it releases. I'll share personal thoughts on this challenge set later, but if you want a quick difficulty rating, I'd say definitely still easier than Season 0, but maybe a bit harder than Season 1. Or if you include the fact that they had a whole ass double XP weekend right after launch, then you could call this season the easiest by far. I would certainly not be sitting here done if it weren't for that. I already showcased the final emblem there. Good to know that it's animated and the proper rarity and all that. We don't have to wait for Season 3 to get it this time. So, if you want to skip to a certain challenge, like running over 50 people, you can do that below. If not, I think, as usual, the logical first step is to cover gaining XP, fast leveling up. Gotta talk about it every season, because plenty of things have changed, and it is the core of getting through these challenges. I've got plenty of challenge pointers to give later on that I think will help, but really the challenges are not that tough if you're paying attention to them as you rank up, which you should be doing. Hitting 155 is the real grind here. Because even with a lot of 4 times XP, spamming my XP tokens through double XP rust, plus getting a bunch of XP from playing co-op too, obviously wasn't making challenge progress there, I was able to keep up with the challenges. I only had a couple to finish off at the end. So you get it, XP is kind of the bigger deal here. Okay then, what's new in Season 2? Well, the ranks require more XP. That has increased yet again. For example, the final dozen ranks or so will be requiring over 100,000 XP per level. That is a fair chunk. I don't have exact measurements, but that seems like about a third more than Season 1. However, to compensate for that, there are even more ways to gain XP. One new thing is the weekly challenges, which I almost forgot existed because those got done on day 1 of the No Life journey, but if you're a healthy, normal human being, you can take advantage of those over the course of the whole season. And another big thing, they added the regiments, which come with happy hour double XP. If you join a regiment, the owner can set a happy hour time, where for 1 hour every day, you can party up with clan members for double XP. That said, it didn't seem to work for me or my group members. Maybe that's because we played double XP Rust and it doesn't stack with existing double XP or my double XP token, because those two stack together for quadruple XP, while the regiment XP did nothing. With or without the XP token, it didn't help. Maybe that's reasonable, they don't want you getting free quadruple XP, or certainly not octuple XP. Maybe it would have been working if I were playing a normal playlist with no double XP whatsoever, or maybe it's completely broken. I'm sorry, I don't know, but if you try it, you should be able to tell fairly quickly, and if it doesn't work now, hopefully it will soon. If you're curious, no, you can't keep moving the happy hour for infinite XP. It locks you out for 24 hours when you change it. But there are other confusing things I don't understand. Like, I believe you can join 10 regiments at a time and switch between the clan tags freely. Does that mean you can have 10 happy hours perfectly lined up, where as long as you're partied with a friend who's in all the same clans, you get 10 hours of double XP every day? Or do they have some prevention for that? I don't know, because it didn't seem to work at all for me, and testing that was not at the top of the list, but maybe you have some juicy updated info you can leave below for people. Another new thing is that if you choose to buy the battle pass, in addition to the double XP token stuff you'll get at certain tiers, you'll get a flat 10% more XP for the entire season. Don't feel like you need that, it's not a big deal. You can decide for yourself if you care about anything in the battle pass, but if you already have the COD points and you're confident you'll get far enough in the pass to earn your points back, then it's a no-brainer, since you can earn 1,300 COD points back as usual, 300 from the free tiers, and your 1,000 back from the paid tiers. Finally, who knows what might happen with the Warzone BR when that arrives. Maybe it'll work like co-op, where in addition to whatever else you might earn in the mode, you get some XP that's tied to your global Modern Warfare character. Even if it does become a free-to-download section of the game, I could see that being a hook to get people to buy the whole thing. Look at all the gear you already have unlocked if you buy the full game. And I'd also guess we'll be progressing the same battle pass by playing Warzone, so maybe you'll be earning some regular XP. Gonna be a bit of a bummer for me if XP is supposed to be the main thing you earn, but we'll see. Speaking of co-op though, just a reminder that ever since the change they made ages ago, it is some of the best XP in the game. It's awful for weapon XP, but if you're done with all the weapon stuff and you only want character XP, co-op is great. Unless you're a multiplayer god always dropping nukes, the co-op XP rate is very comparable, if not better, if you even somewhat know what you're doing, and it's pretty relaxing. It's a lot easier than it was at launch. So you could be working on this co-op mission challenge, which I'd also like to make a guide for after everything I learned about it, but we'll see. If Warzone is coming in March, then for sure. To wrap up XP talk, a couple key things I've mentioned before, and one big thing I don't think I have. That being decoy grenades. If you don't know, they give you a bunch of free score, because when you throw them, there's a very generous radius where any teammate kill will give you a decoy assist plus 15, and you get 2 of them to throw. So do that, and it's a plus 30. This isn't OP on regular maps, but on Shipment, for example, which they've already added back into a playlist for this week, you toss them in the middle, and they basically cover the entire map. And the kills are happening non-stop, so you get pretty bonkers XP. And even on Rust, they still cover a very large area, so when you toss them in the middle, or the most populated corner of enemies, you get a lot of free score. So on every respawn, you usually see me tossing out those decoys. You could even run restock, but I don't think you need to take it that far, and I make sure to die plenty. So I thought I needed to mention that. I can sadly see them nerfing it at some point, because it will get obnoxious if everyone starts doing it. In my defense, I was mostly playing hardcore, and with no minimap, they aren't anywhere near as annoying, and you do still get the XP. Finally, as for the couple things I've covered in the past but are good to remember, of course you've got your trials tickets. If you have some saved, pop a double XP token and fly through those. And finally, the concept of challenge stacking, where you pay attention to a few challenges that are worth a lot, like the 15k and 9k ribbon challenges, the 10k weeklies, maybe some other lower ones if they're easy to hold on to. Same for the mission challenges, and you work on those until they're very nearly complete, waiting for the time that you can complete a big group of them all at once under double XP. That used to mean using a double XP token, which not everyone has a big supply of, but now, assuming happy hours are functioning properly, you get a great free hour every day, which can be your designated window of challenge completion. That might be a bit of a headache for some people to keep track of that. You don't have to, but it's great to be doubling those big one-time challenge rewards to get the most out of them. I know that was a lot about XP, but I do feel it is the most important part of getting through the challenge system. Now let's move on to the fun part, covering some individual challenges. Most of the stuff here you can just read what it says and do it. I'll only be picking out everything that I think deserves some special attention. Number 1 I want to cover is the one I teased earlier, running over 50 people with vehicles. The one I've already been getting questions about. It is a unique new challenge, and a pretty funny one. I see a lot of people dreading it, but I had a good time with it actually. The first method that might pop into your mind when you think vehicles would be running people over in ground war. You've got an unlimited supply of ATVs and tac rover things, so sure, you could do that. You'll probably have more luck on the flatter maps like the farm and the boneyard than something like the downtown, but then on that map you might have more luck running over rooftop snipers in a helicopter. So that is one possible method, but my experience with that was very frustrating. A whole lot of getting shot again and again. I only gave that a try to see how effective it was. The alternate method I was using that you maybe didn't consider right away, the wheelson. You don't need to go to ground war, you can just be running people over with the wheelson. I think this is by far the easier way, even though you have to earn the wheelson instead of the vehicles being free. That's not a huge deal when you can run kill chain hardline now, so all you have to do is get something like an airstrike at 4 kills on Rust or Shipment, which I think most people are capable of. You call that in and try to hide, good chance it gets you 2 more kills, and then you can roll around with that thing, chasing people down. Just gotta resist the urge to be shooting people, unless you can't reach them, in which case, yeah, take them out. Maybe they'll respawn somewhere more accessible. Some games you'll get unlucky when people are pros with their thermite and launchers, but in others it's like they're confused and just begging to be run over. Well, I guess if I were shooting it like a normal person, running away wouldn't do any good. Rust was a pretty darn good map for this. There's that middle crouching area you can wipe people out of because they'll be too slow to run away. You can easily fit through there, just stay off the edges to not get annoyingly stuck. And then you can roam around all the corners to try to find their spawn. There's a lot of open area though. Shipment is totally better, and lucky you, they've already added it back into a playlist with Rust. They did make it 5v5 again to attempt to balance it, but that hardly matters, and either way, a small map is all you need for this. Whichever one you have at the time of watching will be fine, because I'm sure it'll keep changing every week. Well, the Wheelson was definitely a lot more fun than my limited time trying with ground war vehicles, that's for sure. Another note, you can sometimes get a hit marker if you only sideswipe someone. That is a very rare problem, but that does bring me into recommending Hardcore, or the hardcore version of your current small map playlist. Hardcore will fix the tiny hit marker problem, but much more importantly, I think the lack of minimap makes you a lot more lethal. The Wheelson being shown on the map is its biggest weakness, especially when you need to run people over. You don't want them to see you coming and easily either stay away from you or pre-fire launchers at you around corners. And in Hardcore, that's gone, unless they have a UAV. And you're not that loud since you aren't shooting, so I found I could run over a lot more people and stay alive longer in Hardcore. Not that I have a huge sample size, but it makes sense. So I think Hardcore Wheelson is the ultimate strat. But I have one more thing for this challenge. If you want to be efficient, there's a mission challenge, factory approved, that's very centered around ground war things, and it is going to require you to do a bunch of things that overlap with ribbon challenges, including running over 30 people. So if you are going to want to do this at some point, I highly recommend trying to do them at the same time. I could possibly do a more in-depth guide of this mission too, if people want that, but step 1 is 50 IAV kills. That's also a ribbon challenge, and yes, the free ones in Ground War do count. You don't need to earn the streak, so you can do those two at the same time. Then step 2 is run over 10 people with the Little Bird helicopter in Ground War. I found that annoying because it is pretty luck-based. It can be easy if you get some good rooftop snipers, and that will count as 10 of your 50 people run over. Then there's 50 APC turret kills. Those are the armored personnel carriers in Ground War. And there's also a ribbon challenge for 25 APC kills, if you want to unlock that one first to combo them together. And that also means you'll have unlocked the challenge for using 7 Wheelsons. And then at that point, you can finally run over 40 more people with Wheelsons to have it count for both challenges at the same time. Because as much as it was a somewhat fun challenge to be running people over, it certainly requires some extra effort to be earning those things and not shooting and getting 1 to 5-ish kills per Wheelson. It's kind of like getting the 50 white phosphorus kills in Season 0, except easier to earn, and I think you get more kills on average too. That was a somewhat long talk for running people over. In summary, hardcore Wheelson on a small map, and try to combo it with the mission challenge if you care about that. Now there are plenty of other challenges I want to mention, but none of them should be as in-depth as that one. Focused requires 3 kills while stunned or flashed. A bit worrying because it's unlocked late and that's a rare scenario. It seems like stuns have fallen out of fashion, and when you finally get hit by one, on PC especially, it's hard to fight back with how slow you get. Thankfully, you can stun yourself to get this done. I swear in Season 0 I tried this and I got it to say shake it off, which is what you need to see. But it didn't count for the challenge, which was fine at the time because the challenge was unlocked earlier and stuns were more common, so it got itself done over time. But either I was just stupid or something changed, because now it clearly does work. And that makes this challenge very straightforward. Thank God you don't have to wait for someone else to stun you. That would be very luck-based and frustrating if you were stuck on it. As a warning though, it seemed like if I stunned myself and then got a launcher kill, that did not count for whatever reason, as if it considers the rocket not part of you, like if you had gotten a C4 kill while you're stunned. I thought that would be the easiest way to not even need to aim, but even if I was still very stunned by the time the launcher connected, that never gave the shake it off text. So stun yourself and get a regular gun kill. Hacking equipment is another returning challenge. Thankfully it's only 3. It's labeled EOD, but that's a mistake, because hacking is done with the spotter perk now after the update. You don't need EOD at all. I didn't use it. And spotter was always what you wanted to use to be finding equipment to hack. Only difference is now you have to use it. The rest of the challenge is pretty luck-based. You just need the enemy to be using stuff you can hack. The only advice I have is when you see someone is consistently using equipment, you might want to take it seriously, swap to something with high movement speed to get back there, and put on a stun grenade so you can temporarily disable claymores. That way you can hack them even if they're placed well in a spot that's really hard to get behind. Speaking of mislabeled challenges, this one called Backfire is not about getting backfire kills with enemy weapons like it was in the past. It's actually about getting 40 crossbow kills, which isn't a big deal unless you never did that marksman challenge to unlock the crossbow, which will take 25 games, so if you've been ignoring that, get to working on it. Resistance is back again for the third time. Get 5 kills defending one objective without dying. I've said my piece on this challenge before. I think Domination is by far the easiest mode, but I wouldn't queue for Domination. I'd wait for it to come up in Rust or whatever small map, because you can get 5 kills from a flag on Rust pretty quickly. On a big map, you might kill 2 people, and then one of them comes back to get revenge, knowing that you're gonna be there. But on Rust or Shipment or whatever, I don't think anybody's thinking that way. You just keep shooting at whatever moves, nobody cares, and if you die, no big deal, you lost 15 seconds, you didn't lose 3 minutes of camping and waiting around, so just go back to the flag and try again. Other modes are possible, like you stand on top of an HQ and hold people off as long as you can, but you aren't gonna get rushed as hard in Dom. Much more relaxing, you can hang out on that flag all day, and it isn't gonna go anywhere like a hardpoint or HQ. I did the challenge completely accidentally this time around, which was nice. You're watching that now. The Rust B flag is actually a pretty good spot. I'd say it has better cover than the other flags, and the flag does have a pretty forgiving radius around it. You don't have to be on top of the flag for it to count. As long as the text pops up and says defense when you get a kill, you know you're good. This challenge shouldn't be too bad with small map domination. There's another similar challenge, Aggression. It's oddly not about attacking, it's about defending. 15 double kills defending a flag. I just wanted to mention that A, it doesn't have to be a flag, any defending is fine, like a hardpoint, and B, it seemed to me like they had to be actual double kills, as in a triple kill would not count. At least, I think so, because I was stuck at 14 out of 15 for a while, wondering what was going on. It seemed like I had to stop at a double kill and then stay alive long enough for it to say double kill. If I died right away after a double kill, that was also bad. Could be wrong, but either way, I said I was stuck at 14, but that was really early on in the leveling, so you shouldn't have to actually think about that challenge. If you're mainly playing a small map mosh pit, objective modes come up all the time, and that should complete itself. There are a few challenges related to longshots, headshot longshots, injured longshots. I know some people struggled with those last time. I find they're super easy to do in hardcore for 2 reasons. One, it seems counterintuitive that you'd get injured and survive frequently in a mode where a lot of things one-shot kill, but it happens more than you'd think. If you get desperate, you could injure yourself in hardcore with the quickly running past a thermite method, but I can't see that being necessary. This challenge is unlocked very early, and you get injured plenty, and then you never regen that health, so every kill after that will count as injured. And reason 2, you can be using weapons like pistols and shotguns that have a pretty short longshot range. I happened to get the injured challenge done just because I was unlocking akimbo with all the pistols in hardcore. But if you don't need that and want the absolute easiest way, shotguns in hardcore are totally the play. Specifically, the Model 680 is an absolute beast. When spec'd out for tight pellet spread and max range, I consider it to be the most powerful shotgun in the game by far. Even with how strong the R90 is, the 680 is just insane. It's great in core as well, I think it feels incredible, and then in hardcore, it just feels unfair. The kill range is bonkers. I'm not using slugs here. It's like a very forgiving quickscope. You do have to be somewhat on center mass. Like even at close range in hardcore, if you hipfire poorly and only hit a couple pellets, it'll be a hit marker. But if you have something that slightly resembles aim, you can delete people from across the map. I know it's hardcore, so you could do a similar thing with an AK. It might feel more OP than it is, but it still feels amazing. I could make a whole video discussing my love for the 680, but I don't know if people would like that. A video telling everyone about an OP shotgun. People would either be mad that I'm getting more people to use it, or that I might get it nerfed. I think I'll just leave it buried in this video instead. Next, there are some killstreak challenges, pretty light on these this time, and I already talked about the 7 Wheelson challenge and liking killchain hardline. Killchain plus something else, like Ghost, would work too. You also need to call in 7 emergency airdrops, 1 VTOL, a good amount of lower streaks like some UAVs, radars, airstrikes, no big deal. The biggest requirement was 3 support helos. If you don't want to earn that the normal way, well, I don't recommend hoping for a lucky care package now that we have a good feel for those odds. The easy way to get any streak, as usual, is the good old ground war shooting stuff down cheese. You'll want pointsman, a pila, spotter, and the EMP plane. You can start the game by trying to get a couple kills, since there won't be anything to shoot down right away. If you can get some easy score by capping the first couple flags, why not? Then make your way back to HQ to camp there in the back of the map for the whole game, using the infinite ammo crate to shoot down UAVs and all the enemy junk you see. Having amped would be nice, but spotter is way more helpful for not missing any streaks, plus you get the extra score for tagging everything as you shoot it down. The EMP plane is just nice to have for yet another injection of score whenever it charges up. I just ran all care packages and a support helo, hoping for anything in the crates that would give me more score, which is likely, but you could run Predator VTOL, that would be about the same thing, especially since kills with pointsman now after the buff give you the full 100 points towards your next streaks, which almost seems like a bug that you don't have to run kill chain plus pointsman to get that effect now that they're in different tiers, because that effect wasn't mentioned in the pointsman buffs that they wrote on the in-game menu. But anyway, because of that, streaks are even easier to earn with this strategy than ever if you don't want to try hard at all to earn a high streak. We're getting to the bottom of the barrel. Snack attack, pretty luck-based, play enough using Semtexes and C4s on objectives. That'll happen before too long. Just kidding, I forgot shipment is already back. Why am I even talking about this? Play shipment. The final challenge you get at max rank is once again a quad feed, throwback to season 0, and they've been in every season, so we've talked about it plenty. Streaks that blow people up all at once, like a lucky cruise missile, can be helpful. That plus chopper gunners were the main way I got them back in the shoot house days. I got a couple chopper gunners on Rust trying to do this, and got some very satisfying 9+ kill chains, but never the feed I needed. Kills just happen too fast, there's always an interruption, very frustrating. As usual, Rust is good, but if you have the power of shipment, that's even better. Another idea is infected. If you can hide somewhere that's away from the crowd and stay alive till they're all dead, that can be a pretty easy quad feed, since there will be nobody left to interrupt your feed, and a whole lot of people running at you. How easy it is might depend on the weapon you get and the map, and you just have to hope to not get hit by a lucky knife, but you can try that method if you enjoy infected. I was going for mine primarily in hardcore Rust, with the AK also trying to earn choppers. The AK is great, one of the kings of hardcore, a one-shot kill at any range while maintaining good handling properties. Hardcore is gonna make the feed easier with an instant time to kill. You will get plenty of Fury kills that are not quad feeds due to interruptions, but if you can get hardcore headquarters on a small map, I feel that is your best shot at getting a feed with a regular gun. Because if you capture the HQ, you can try to stay alive until you're alone, no more teammates to interrupt your feed, and you can try to spray 4 people down like this guy I was spectating. But the better scenario is when the enemy gets the HQ and your team kills them all off. When the HQ is shut down, you can be prepared for the massive respawn wave, where they're probably all going to spawn in the same corner. If you can be in a spot to predict that corner and spray them all down, that can be your easy feed. Or close to one. Bummer right there. But I did finally get one in that game, just through luck, being in an elevated spot to see a large area of the map. Got a lucky 4th kill, I thought I saw a movement there. And then actually got another one in the same game. This time it was because of the HQ being captured. They all respawned in that corner. I was somewhat expecting that. I wasn't going for a quad feed anymore, but it worked out since my team was all in the other corner. But that's really all I got for this challenge. Hardcore, small map, go for predators and choppers, or give infected a try. The very last challenge I will cover here today doesn't seem like a special one, but it's unlocked pretty late, which made it a problem. 20 equipment destroys. This was the bane of my existence for the entire final day on Sunday of trying to finish these challenges. I'm not counting the 7 TDM wins, that was just because it rarely ever came up on Rust, and I didn't want to queue for it separately. So, equipment. This was pretty easy when it came up in Season 0, cause claymores were OP as hell and everyone used them. Now, there isn't that much equipment out there, so you just have to get lucky to run into someone using it. There isn't much more to it than that. All you can do is have spotter on at all times. Maybe have a launcher to more easily destroy things around corners. Claymores, bouncing betties, and trophies are your main targets. Maybe C4 if someone leaves it lying around. Some things that don't count include the munitions box, crushing or shooting tac inserts in infected, maybe not anywhere, and when you deploy your own trophy and it blocks grenades, that is also not destroying equipment, even though it gives you the 50 score and the gear icon, but no, very sad, that would have been too good to be true if that counted. It seems like if it's something you can hack with spotter, then it counts. So you're stuck just waiting for equipment, you get a lucky game once in a while where someone's using trophies or mines, then I got hours of nothing to only get 1 C4. I said, okay, how about ground war? Surely if I zoom around on an ATV with spotter, I'll be seeing things left and right. I'll check out some sniper spots to look for claymores. Nope, a couple games of pure nothing. I spent this entire port game searching and found 1 munitions box, which doesn't even count. Okay, not saying that's a terrible strategy, but I didn't get lucky, I guess. What about S&D and cyber attack, limited respawn modes? People love their claymores and betties because they stick around after you die. Well, the first cyber attack game, someone was using claymores every round. Awesome, got a couple of those. But then the next couple games, nothing. Tried S&D, nothing. So it seemed like it really was just luck. I finally went back to Rust, thought maybe I'll just start leaving every game after the first minute if nobody's using anything, but I didn't need to. I found the God Lobby. Everyone who was using equipment in all of Modern Warfare in one game. Betties, claymores, everything. I got the final 10 out of 20 I needed, all in the first third of one game. I felt giddy. It was amazing. My plan at that point of desperation was to actually track the names of the people using the equipment and try to join off them in recent players, hoping they would be on the enemy team again and I could get more destroys. But I got it done in that game, so I didn't need to. Maybe you could try that if you get that desperate too, but you really shouldn't be. The only reason I was getting frustrated with it was because I had a one-track mind to get it done so I could get to working on this video as soon as I could. If I were playing normally, this is a challenge you can get done over time. You don't need to stress about it. I recommend just leaving spotter equipped as soon as you have the challenge unlocked until you're done. So that was the journey. You have to restart the game to get your emblem, but there it was, already animated without waiting for Season 3. Excellent. That's all the challenges I felt I should cover. Everything I thought was interesting, but if there's something you wanted me to mention, you can ask about it below. This video is already long as hell, but I can give some closing thoughts about this batch of challenges. I liked it. I think the difficulty level made sense, a good middle ground between the first 2 seasons. That said, I'm also just getting used to it. This style of challenge system can never properly replace the 100%er system. That was the perfect long-term goal that hardcore grinders were satisfied hunting for, and even casual players could achieve eventually, given enough time. With this, the time is limited. So, as I've said before, if they make it too hard, it'll be too frustrating for too many people who want to do it but run out of time. I know people aren't entitled to finish it, but it should be reasonable and fun. Having a time limit can make it feel like you're forced to play when you don't want to, if you don't want to miss out. I get that. But if they make it too easy, then there's nothing interesting about it, everyone gets it, it doesn't mean anything. So this set I felt was pretty good. It has some easy stuff that completes itself like usual, but it also had some interesting things you had to go out of your way for, like the running people over, crossbow kills, some melee and throwing knives, lots of standard equipment stuff, and a good amount of them too, like 35 Semtex kills actually takes some time. Maybe not on shipment, but the tanks and APCs making you jump into ground war, cool stuff. So I feel like this is maybe the best that this system can be. I don't know what else I would ask for without going into a larger overhaul of how the challenge and level system works. But yeah, I think this was a fun hunt. I still can't believe they gave us a launch weekend double XP event. I know Valentine's Day, but still, double weapon XP only I think would have made more sense. I guess they aren't worried if you finish too quickly with Warzone on the way. There's actually even more double weapon XP this week too, I think, the 20th to 24th. Now that I do understand. I think they want you to buy the new Battle Pass guns if you haven't earned them yet, to level them up now or something. Oh well, the XP certainly made my job easier, so thank you, I suppose. Got all those done, able to get the guide done at a time where it might actually be useful, and be all ready for Warzone. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.